Prince Harry and Meghan took a leaf out of the royal handbook as they greeted hundreds of people in Dusseldorf with a traditional walkabout. Yeah, they're in Germany to announce preparations for next year's Invictus Games, although Harry had something else on his mind.
There's something that I must ask and something that I must know. I hear that the beer here is better than in Cologne. Is this true? Is this true? We'll have to find out. On this hot day, I couldn't think of a better reason.
Yeah, Steins all round. Shy. They're a busy couple, with Meghan also releasing the latest episode of her podcast, which features a very familiar voice. Ooh, take a listen.
When I started dating my husband, we became engaged, and everyone was just like, oh my God, you're so lucky he chose you.
The happy couple has enchanted the world with their real-life fairy tale.
And at a certain point, after you hear it a million times over, you're like, well, I chose him too. Mm-hmm. But thankfully, I have a partner who was countering that narrative for me and going, they've got it all wrong.
Yeah, Ali.
Oh, Ali, a report from our very own Ali Langdon. There you go. She's a big fan.
She has
clearly.
absolutely given it to
out
you.
my ears. What part of that was saying Harry? Oh my gosh.
You were featured. What, did you know about this? Is this new?
No, I didn't know about it till you just
Basically been
played it.
taken to downtown from Meghan.
Yeah.
I mean, and whatever way of the side of the fence Ali is on this story, she gets smashed by Meghan. I mean,
you tell me in anything that I just said, which said
who are you pointing at?
Lucky that wherever that just thing from Meghan came from.
Yeah.
Which was me saying that she was lucky because of Prince.
Yeah. But she had to change that.
How's the narrative?
She had to change that narrative.
Yeah, in her
and
podcast.
luckily
Harry
my
helped her.
husband. Luckily, my husband had a different narrative. Oh my God! Makes my head explode.
All I know is I had a lot of mates who liked Meghan for a long time, and none of them do anymore.
Especially now. What about you, Timmy?
Tim doesn't like it. Tim loves it.
I have a narrative that's hopefully not going to make your head explode again this morning. I'm in Central West New South Wales.
Royal news now, and there are fresh fears for the Queen's health after the frail-looking monarch appointed Liz Truss as the UK's new Prime Minister.
Royal editor at the Daily Mirror, Russell Myers, joins us live from East Sussex. Russ, good morning to you. How did the meeting go?
Morning, Sylvia. Morning, Tom. Well, I think it went pretty well. I think that, it was good to see the Queen with few fears knocking around the place because we hadn't seen her since July the 21st when she first went up for her Scottish summer holiday. But she was looking rather resplendent, I thought. Of course, people will be looking at her hands. They were a little bruised. Her ankles looked a little swollen. However, we do know she's having these reoccurring mobility issues. She is 96 after all, but she looked rather cosy in her Scottish residence today.
Russell, do you feel uncomfortable at all about watching for these signs of frailty for the Queen? Every time she steps out in public, we're micro-analysing how she's looking, even including this time that she did this in Balmoral, not in Buckingham Palace. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it's, rather unfortunate that everybody is going to be poring over these photographs. I mentioned sort of the bruises on her hands. Obviously, this is part of the course, isn't it, for a woman in her 90s? However, she was utterly determined that she would carry out this duty. I mean, she is on her holidays. You mentioned that the Prime Ministers were invited up to Balmoral. This is a royal first, of course, because she would normally go down to Buckingham Palace, or even Windsor Castle was mooted as a potential. However, I mean, the 1,000-mile round trip, it's something that she can't really do these days. So, again, she looked rather happy to see both the outgoing and incoming Prime Ministers. And she deserves it, doesn't she?
Well, and as you point out, she is as committed to the crown and to her duty as ever, isn't she? Meanwhile, Prince Harry and Meghan have touched down in Dusseldorf. They're jetting around Europe at the moment, but still no plans to see the Queen. Is that right, Russell?
Yes, I mean, I understand it. Anything could happen with these two, but they popped up in Germany today. They're on a bit of a mini European tour. They were in Manchester in the northwest of England earlier on the week. They will be in London on Thursday, but still no plans to see the Queen. I mean, I was told that they declined another invitation from Prince Charles to go and stay with him this summer. So it's it's still very, very fractious, and I think that I'm sure that the Queen would have loved to see them, and if they can squeeze it into the schedule, then they would be welcome, as the Queen has said before. However, we still understand no plans to go and see Her Majesty. It's rather sad, I think.
Oh, what a shame. Russell, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
Queen Elizabeth has broken with tradition, officially appointing Liz Truss as the UK's new Prime Minister from her Balmoral estate in Scotland rather than Buckingham Palace. But it was the photos that were a little bit of a worry. To discuss, we're joined by Royal Editor at ITV News, Chris Shipp, the Rick Astley of ITV News. Look at him, he's a handsome, dapper fella, isn't he, eh? Never going to give you up, never going to give you up. Look, despite her mobility issues, the Queen had a big grin on her face. She does seem in good spirits. How much talk, how much concern?
Yeah, thanks, Karl. I've spent the day in the rain today, which might explain why my hair's sticking up on end. But it rains in Scotland. Breaking news. Yeah, look, the Queen... And it was rain, let me tell you that. Look, I mean, the whole reason why this meeting happened here in Scotland, 500 miles north of London, where it normally happens, was all to do with the Queen's mobility. And you can see some pictures there of Liz Truss arriving at Balmoral Castle today. This is the first time in the Queen's reign that this, handover of power from one Prime Minister to another, be that after a general election or be that, in this case, it's replacing a leader, this is the first time it's happened in her reign. It was all about her mobility. Liz Truss actually was a little bit late because of the aforementioned rain, but given it was the Queen that changed the location of today's meeting, I don't think she would have minded one bit.
What was going on with her hand there? It looks like she has some bruising, or is that just the photo?
I don't think it's a photo. I think, I mean, I'm no medic, but it could be some form of cannula that the Queen's had. And we're guessing here, and Buckingham Palace never tell us about her, her ongoing medical conditions. But, she's 96 years old, a frail lady, let's be clear, and a queen of advancing ages. And I think we're going to have to get used to now the constitutional diary, which this was, having to be changed to suit the needs of an ageing monarch.
Was it weird that Harry and Megs didn't come in and see the Queen, do you think?
No, I thought they might have done them. I saw Harry and Meghan yesterday. I was down in Manchester in the sort of north of England yesterday, where there was a lively debate going on outside the conference centre about whether you're pro-Meghan or anti-Meghan, and we've had that discussion on this show before. They had they've got a free day tomorrow. They're doing something on Thursday, our time. Tomorrow, which is Wednesday, our time, they've got a free day when they could have gone to Balmoral, but we don't think they will. And we're advised they have no plans to see Harry's brother William and no plans to see Harry's father Prince Charles while they're here either. So that family rift is still there.
It's one of those. Anyway, I want to get your take on this. Our very own Allison Langdon, my co-host on the Today Show for several years now, she's made a surprise cameo in Meghan Markle's brand new podcast. Check this out.
When I started dating my husband and we became engaged, and everyone was just like, oh my God, you're so lucky he chose you.
The happy couple has enchanted the world with their real-life fairy tale.
And at a certain point, after you hear it a million times over, you're like, well, I chose him too. But thankfully, I have a partner who was countering that narrative for me and going, they've got it all wrong.
I picked this up with Ali at the time. I thought that Ali was just reinforcing an awful stereotype there. What do you think, big fella?
Look, do you have the phrase in Australia, punching? I mean, who's punching above their weight in this relationship? Far be it from me to make any commentary on who's punching in this relationship. But yeah, Meghan's podcast has, let's be clear, has been interesting every single week. And yet again, we've got another contribution from Meghan. Who was lucky to marry who? I don't know. I mean, maybe she's chosen your commentary for her podcast. So
yes,
she clearly listens to Channel 9.
She does. That's exactly right. G'day, it's Ali.
And Karl.
Thanks for watching the Today YouTube channel.
Subscribe now for brand new videos every day and exclusive bonus clips.
Ali, say please.
Please? Why?
Please? I don't know.